Alright, here we've got House of the Dead 2 running on my Blast City, sideways. Again, I apologize for that. I really need a horizontal cabinet. What I was testing today, I just got a House of the Dead board set off eBay. So I was hooking it up to my House of the Dead homemade wiring harness and gun setup. The interesting thing here is you're probably thinking, what the heck is that? House of the Dead 2 runs in a metal cage. This is a plastic case, and it says Derby Owners Club. What's up with that? Well, I decided I want to make a multi-shooting cabinet, and without going into all the details, the metal cage Naomi's run House of the Dead 2. The plastic case do not, unless it's an early one. The made in Japan motherboards run House of the Dead 2, and the aftermarket ones don't. So what I've done is I've taken a Japanese Naomi motherboard out of a metal cage and put it into a plastic case. The next thing I did was I ordered off eBay a Derby Owners Club cart, brand new, never been used cart, and I unscrewed the cart and screwed in the House of the Dead 2 cart. So now instead of a big unwieldy metal cage, I have a slightly smaller unwieldy plastic case. The main advantage here is that if I want to run all of the Naomi gun games, all I have to do is unplug the House of the Dead 2 cart, make a dual mode BIOS, because House of the Dead 2 needs a specific BIOS, so I'll swap that BIOS chip with a dual setup with a switch. So if I have the switch in one position and that card in, it'll run House of the Dead 2. If I switch the BIOS dual mod chip the other direction, it'll have the latest Japan H BIOS. I can pull the House of the Dead 2 cart out, put a compact flash NetDim unit in, and off that I can boot any of the other gun games for the Naomi. So I can have every gun game for the Naomi running on one smaller plastic cased Naomi instead of two separate motherboards. I'm running just off a normal Naomi smaller power supply here. And again, I've shown this in other videos. This is a couple start buttons, gun board, JVS IO board, all hooked up to a wiring harness I made. I copied a friend's House of the Dead 2 wiring harness, two guns, and everything's working. I just calibrated the guns, and I wasn't able to get into one of the corners, and I remember that when we were at my friend's house and we were working on some of his games, I had the dip switch over here set for mirrored. House of the Dead 2 cabinets had the monitor upside down and reflected in a mirror. So if you flip that switch one direction, it expects a mirrored setup, and the other way a non-mirrored. So once I set it back to non-mirrored, I recalibrated the guns and they work perfect now. So just in case anybody else has that issue. So there we are once again. Plastic case with a cart that's actually a metal cased Naomi motherboard with the House of the Dead 2 cart plugged into a Naomi cart, running into my Blast City. Surround is just laying there over the monitor right now, held up by 2x4 until I get a horizontal cabinet, which is the last piece of my puzzle, as well as a dual BIOS mod. I haven't been able to figure out online, I haven't actually seen the wiring schematics of how you do that, although I've seen a couple pictures that people have made them, so I know it's possible. So there we go. Also, this is the first video on a new camera I bought. So I'm just testing it to see what that looks like as well. That's all for now.